Hello students, you're welcome back to GST 107 Introduction to E-Learning. Today we'll be looking at study session 2 which focus on teaching and learning in the open and distance learning system. The learning outcome that we will be looking at for this study session. The first one there is to define what learning environment is. Then we are going to go on to identify the roles of the teachers in the open and distance learning system, and we'll cap it up by discussing the learning characteristics of ODL learners. So we are going to look at you as a learner in ODL. What are the basic characteristics that you need to inculcate in your learning process so that you will come out strong at the end of the day? Now, before we go deep into our discussion for today, I want to do a quick recap of what we did in our last discussion. There we'll consider the concept of open and distance learning, what it means, how it comes about, and how it has evolved over the years. That is the ODL history and its development. Then we move on to consider various stages of distance learning. So today we'll be looking at distance learning environment. We'll be delving deeper into what distance learning environment looks like. Now, when we talk about learning environment, what do we really mean? You know, in the traditional face-to-face learning process, let us consider it. What does the learning environment look like? The learning environment, now we are talking about the four walls of the classroom. The first thing that will come to your mind is there is a teacher, then you have like a blackboard, you have a chalk, you have students in class that you relate with. Majorly, they are your age group or they are of your peer group, and so on and so forth. You do quiz, you do exercises, assignments, and all that. Now, how do we bring this into online education? That is what the replica of this is what the learning environment in open and distance learning inculcates. The first thing you are seeing on your screen is student registration. When you want to enter into a school, the learning environment must be able to accommodate that, just like four walls of a traditional classroom. Participation in the class, that is another area, which means when you are in the class, you should be able to participate, interact with your teacher, interact with your colleagues. Collaboration, you work together. Self-instructional, that is you are able to read on your own and study on your own. You know, that is also achievable in the traditional face-to-face. You can see that learning environments in open and distance learning replicate what is achievable in the traditional face-to-face learning environment. Now, let us define this learning environment. A learning environment is defined by an interface that enables students to register and participate in some course or courses, as the case may be, remaining within that platform throughout the process or duration of that course. Typically, this program incorporates self-instructional components alongside an academic model that is structured as a multi-week course activity. That is what a learning environment in open and distance learning looks like. You will register when you are about to come to LOUTECH Open and Distance Learning Center. You applied online, and from there they migrate you to student portal where you are able to register your course, and you will remain with the student portal and the learning management system for learning management, where all these characteristics of learning environment that was discussed will be achieved. You will remain there until the duration of your course is completed. Those are doing 4 years program. Until that 4 years is completed, then you will be migrated away from the learning management system. So that is how it is. And he said it is structured in a multi-week course format, which means every week you will be receiving the instructional learning materials for each week. You will receive videos just like this one that I'm sending to you. You will receive all other things. You will participate in quizzes, in forums, and all that. So those are the things that learning environment in open and distance learning involved. Now, let us consider the teachers on ODL system. Now, not only considering them, we are going to compare them with what is achievable in traditional classroom so that you can relate very well. You know, one thing that identify or distinct traditional classroom is that they are teacher-centered. It is teacher-centered mode of teaching. Why do we say it's teacher-centered? Without the teacher in the class will not be coordinated. The student will not learn, which means the learning process of the student actually depend on the teacher. Now let's compare it to open and distance learning mode. The open and distance learning mode is learner-centered mode of teaching. What do we mean by learner-centered? Every instruction that will be given to you, you will be the one to in such a way that you will take responsibility for your learning process. That is what learner-centered means. And it is your material are designed in such a way that they are so easy to comprehend and to guide your learning process. The teacher bears the responsibility of overseeing discussion. That is what the teacher does. He tracks the discussion to see how well you are contributing in the discussion process. And when the teacher observes that there is need for you to have a more information on a particular topic, then the teacher will come in. Oh, Mr. Man, the way you are going, no, that is not the way to go. You should do it like this, like this, like this, and you will get this result. I hope you understand that now. So which means your participation in this learning process is very, very important. In fact, it is 100% required for you to have a successful stay in your open and distance learning process. All right. Now, there are some key facilitators or key players in the teaching process of ODL. The first one there is instructors or e-tutors or learner support staff, as you may have it, and the facilitators. Now, the e-tutors are the set of people that will guide you in your online learning process, and the facilitators are the ones that will oversee your learning activity and make sure that your learning process progresses well. Now, the learners in ODL. We have various learners in ODL. You know, in a traditional classroom, you have people that are of your age group in the same class. So we can say categorically that you are peers, you are of the same age range. But in ODL, it's not like that. It's not like that. Now, let us see some of the characteristics of the learners in ODL. The first one is the gender. Yes, we have both male and female. But one thing you should take note here is that we have observed over time that the gender, there are sometimes that some gender are dominant over the other. For example, let's look through the eye of a course. At LAUTECH Open and Distance Learning today, the nurses are more of a female than males. I hope you understand now. So sometimes the gender distribution is not fairly distributed. It is biased towards the gender compared to the other. And this can be as a result of the course they are taking or the location where they are. For example, there are some part of the country that their women are not allowed to work, and when they take advantage of this open education, you will observe that we will have more of that female gender dominating the learning process. So by location also it varies. And also I was talking about the age range the other time. You have different age group. since open and distance learning is so flexible that it can accommodate various age range. All you need to do is just to be versatile with the use of computer system, so it can accommodate different age range. Then the employment status also, since people that are working can have access when they are free from their daily work balance, they can access their learning management system and study. So you have different people of um gender, age and employment status in open and distance learning. So it is important for you to take note of this, because this will guide your learning process. You should give people their respect, because you don't expect that the person that you are talking to via your WhatsApp or via email is of the same age as you are, or is of the same employment status as you are. So that is that. The learning characteristics of ODL learners. The first one here is independence versus collaboration. You know, the ODL, what this means is that because you are not physically present with your colleagues, there is a tendency of being weary over time, because you are only seeing yourself. So there is need for you to grow over it and move to the phase of collaboration with your colleague. Some over time they do group themselves by region, by location, and look for people who are in their location and collaborate together. So you need to do this in order to um have the zeal even to be successful in this mode of learning. You must be motivated, like I said. Don't be demoralized. You need to be energized even to be successful in this learning process. Don't give up. You need to call your inner strength and to pursue that goal until you achieve it. Adaptation to technology. Well, over time now we have been seeing increase in younger people coming into open and distance learning, and these people are technology migrants, or let me say they are born into technology, so to say. But peradventure you are an old person or elderly person in your 40s or 50s, and you are finding it difficult to use technology. You need to acquaint yourself with how to use technology, because without this, your chance of survival in open and distance learning mode will be very, very minimal. So you need to be technologically savvy in order to function effectively well in this learning process. You must be disciplined. The next one there is discipline. You must be disciplined. For example, you can set some times for yourself that every day for 2 hours I must read my lecture note, or I must watch my video, or I must do my assignment. You must assign a time and follow it judiciously for you to be successful in this learning system, in this mode of learning. Active participation. On the learning management system, your lecture material is being uploaded there. There are some settings that your tutor is making use of that will know whether you are participating actively on the learning management system. For example, you may upload 1 or 2 files and make the setting in such a way to check whether you have actually accessed that material, and with that it can check whether you are active on the platform or not. So you must participate actively in your on the learning management system in this style of learning. Do your quiz on time, contribute on the forum discussion, any assignment that is given, make sure you do it and you submit. Also, the next one here is effective communication. You must be able to communicate effectively, which means you must develop yourself in the communication process also. If you have a good thing to say but you don't know how to communicate it, it's as good as you are not communicating. So your communication prowess must be at the optimum even for you to be successful in this mode of learning. Then the reflective skill. you must have ability to reflect over things that you are learning, to see how they apply to your life and to see how you can take maximum advantage of them. So with this, you might need your diary with you whenever you are studying to take note of important things which you can refer back and you ruminate about and digest the information that such is given to you. With this, we have come to the end of study session 2, and you may look through your lecture notes in order to gain more understanding on what we have discussed today.